Richard, we hear these little steps that are taking place, but how big do you think the issue of energy is within this conflict?
It's enormous. It's the lifeline to the Russian economy. And what you just heard was 100% accurate. Short of a European decision to shut the spigot on gas, Russia will be able to sustain this war economically indefinitely. And that so far, at least, the Europeans are not willing to pay the economic price, which would be considerable in terms of economic contraction, the loss of GDP. So the continued payment for gas obliterates the effects of other sanctions. So, yeah, that's the decision. That's where we are. And until the Europeans, and particularly the Germans, do something about Russian gas, Mr. Putin, well, he'll pay some modest price for this war economically, but he will be able to endure it.
Paul, how are you seeing this aspect?
Well, I think, as Jakob pointed out, Germany's caught between a rock and a hard place. Which leader of which country would agree to a 6% reduction in their GDP overnight, simply because of the change of their energy policy? Not many. Even if you've got Russia, literally breathing down the neck of Europe. I think the difficulty is that all countries are going to have to grapple with this. But over time, as we've discussed earlier, the war in Ukraine may well not be over in weeks or months. It may well last several years, this war of attrition in the east of Ukraine and in the south. Given it's going to last years, surely the thing for Europe to do is slowly but surely ratchet up the pressure on Russia, particularly by reducing its gas supplies from Russia. And I think it's easy for us in the UK to tell the Germans what to do. It's easy for the Americans to tell them what to do because we are largely energy independent when it comes to things like gas. We've got our own North Sea gas. The Americans have theirs. We have a small amount of gas from Russia. We can wean ourselves off it. In fact, we did a story in my newspaper only recently suggesting that if all the wind farms that had received planning permission in the UK actually were built, I think there's 800 of them at least, we more than make up the loss of Russian gas from this war. And that just shows how little we rely on Russia.
I understand, Paul. Thank you very much.